At least by Silicon Valley standards, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir Technologies, has been called an unusual tech leader. Karp is different from most tech executives in Silicon Valley, not because he has never been married, but because he has never worked in tech. Karp's ideas also make him different from a lot of tech executives. Karp is worth $1 billion, is friends with Peter Thiel, and runs one of the most controversial tech companies. People don't know much about Karp's personal life. Karp has never had a family and has never wanted one. In fact, he said that he gets hives just thinking about starting a family. Karp is here, because at least his parents had a different view of what it means to get married and raise a family. Who is Alex Karp's mom and dad? Alex Karp grew up in Philadelphia with parents he called hippies. Karp went to Stanford University to study law, where he was in the same class as Peter Thiel. After he finished studying law, Karp went on to get a PhD in social theory. He was interested in German thinkers, which led him to learn German and then get his PhD in Germany. Karp's parents went to rallies for workers' rights and political demonstrations with their young son. Robert Karp is Karp's father. He is a clinical pediatrician who is Jewish. Karp's artist mother, Leah Janes Karp. Karp knew from a young age that being of mixed race made him a little more vulnerable. In fact, Karp still has that anxiety, no matter what his situation is now. For example, Karp says that if the far right took over, he would be one of the first people they would kill. Karp's vulnerability is made worse by the fact that he is the CEO of Palantir. Palantir gives technology to governments to help them fight terrorism. Technology also helps the police do their jobs. Extremists and people who believe in conspiracies have sent Karp many death threats. Because Palantir works with the government, Karp's bodyguards follow him everywhere he goes to keep him safe from threats. How have Alex Karp's beliefs made him who he is? Karp learned early on about the dangers of fascism and how important it was to protect civil liberties because his parents took him to labor rallies and political protests. Karp's life and work have been affected by these ideas. For instance, Karp wants to stop discrimination, which is something he learned from his mother. Karp calls himself a progressive warrior and thinks of himself as a socialist. Karp and Thiel both helped start Palantir. But Karp voted for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election while Thiel voted for Donald Trump. Karp said that one of the things he fears most is the rise of fascism. Karp makes a lot of decisions at Palantir based on how he feels about being weak. Alex Karp's fight with Silicon Valley and Palantir's decision to move its headquarters. Karp was in charge when Palantir went public in September 2020. He owns about 6% of the stock in Palantir. Palantir makes the technology that helps the US military and police do their jobs better. For example, it is thought that Palantir's technology helped find and catch Osama bin Laden. But Silicon Valley has not been happy about Palantir's work for the government. Critics of Palantir, for example, say that the company helped the Trump administration with its crackdown on immigration, especially with controversial actions like separating migrant parents from their children at the US-Mexico border. Karp thinks that people who criticize Palantir for working with governments, especially the CIA and immigration agencies, aren't being patriotic enough. Karp said that he wouldn't have wanted to work with the immigration department if it had asked Palantir for a contract while Trump was in office. Karp also said that he wouldn't want to use Palantir's technology to make racial bias easier. In addition to working with the military and the police, Palantir has also helped fight the COVID-19 pandemic. For instance, the CDC uses Palantir technology to figure out how to deal with a disease during the COVID-19 pandemic. The World Food Programme also used Palantir technology to help get food to people. Palantir's technology helps many companies, from airplane makers to banks, run more smoothly. Karp thinks that the world will be run by the country that is best at artificial intelligence. This may be the opinion of most people in Silicon Valley. But that hasn't stopped Palantir and Silicon Valley from having different ways of life. Just before the company went public, Karp chose to move Palantir's headquarters from Palo Alto to Denver just before the company went public. Alex Karp is a billionaire, but not much is known about his personal life. It seems like being a billionaire and being eccentric have always gone hand in hand. There are a lot of strange billionaires in the world today, from car magnates like Elon Musk, who use flamethrowers, to software experts like Larry Ellison, who fly around the world. Some billionaires, on the other hand, choose to keep a lower profile. For example, Alex Karp is one of the people who started the company Palantir, which just went public. Besides what he likes to do and how much money he has, not much is known about Karp. Is he a monogamist who has only been married once, like Jeff Bezos, or a playboy, like Larry Ellison? Who or what is important to someone as rich as Alex Karp? What is Palantir Technologies? Karp started investing in new businesses after his grandfather left him some money. Not until 2004, when he joined forces with investors Peter Thiel, who was also Karp's college roommate, Joe Lonsdale, and Stephen Cohen, did he decide to put that money to work on something important. The group started Palantir, a technology company that focuses on data analysis, was started by the group. The name comes from the magical stones in the Lord of the Rings books that could tell the future. The people who use these stones are said to be able to talk to each other or see faraway parts of the world. Fitting, since that's what Palantir does best. Is Alex Karp married? Who does he go out with? Alex Karp doesn't seem to be dating anyone at the moment. He isn't dating anyone out in the open, and he's never been married. It looks like the businessman from Philadelphia hasn't found the right person yet. Though, given how private his personal life is, it's possible he's involved, even if it's in secret. As with the other billionaires on this list, Karp's continued success could one day reveal more about his private life. What does Alex Karp think about the government? Alex Karp calls himself a socialist, and his ideas are progressive and democratic. He has been very clear that he voted for Hillary Clinton in 2017. He flatly turned down an invitation from President Trump. When asked why, he was quoted as saying, "I have no respect for that guy." But he also thinks that tech companies like Palantir have a responsibility to help the US military. This makes sense, since Palantir already has a contract with the US Enforcement of Immigration and Customs. That relationship doesn't seem to fit with Karp's ideas about moving forward. In the past, he has called for the US to have an immigration policy that is fair but strict. He is also said to think that the US and other Western countries should be in charge of developing AI. Whose house does Alex Karp live in? Alex Karp might be a busy billionaire, but when he has free time, he makes good use of it. Karp is a big fan of working out and could be called a wellness nut in some circles. He swims, skis cross-country, does martial arts, Tai Chi, and Qigong meditation, all of which add to his Zen personality. He lives in New Hampshire right now, but he owns a house in Palo Alto in California. How much of Palantir still belongs to Alex Karp? There was a lot of talk about it when Palantir, a company that mines data, went public on September 30, 2020. Palantir, which is often called a secret tech company because it works with government intelligence agencies, like the CIA and the FBI, chose an unorthodox way to go public. A direct listing instead of an offering. This meant that the company didn't get any money before it went public. Instead, shareholders could sell their shares on the open market and get rid of them. Because of this plan, Alex Karp and other executives started selling their shares quickly over the next few months. Within a few days of Palantir's IPO, Karp sold 14.1 million shares for $135 million. This amounted to about 11% of his total stake. Since October 2020, when he made his first sale, Karp has been selling more shares once a month. In November, December, January, and February, Karp sold 1.285 million shares each time. Each sale brought in more money. So, what does this mean for Karp's ownership of Palantir? The way Palantir's business is set up is controversial. Before Palantir went public, there was a lot of back and forth about how the executive structure of the company would be set up. The days before the public offering were at best busy. There were a lot of changes and adjustments to the voting system right up until the last minute. In a filing with the SEC less than 2 weeks before the IPO, Palantir revealed new warnings about the company's unusually complicated organizational structure, which was made to give Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, and Stephen Cohen control of the company. Just 3 days later, an updated filing explained how the founders could redesignate a certain number of the company's shares whenever they wanted. This gave them the ability to unilaterally adjust their voting power. A few hours later, the provision was taken out of another filing. Since Palantir went public 6 months ago, it's clear that the company went to a lot of trouble to make sure that its founders still had control. The company has even said that some of its rules are novel and significantly different from what most companies do to keep their founders in charge after they go public. Alex Karp still owns a large part of Palantir. Even though Karp sold some shares, he still owns a lot of Palantir stock. Palantir's filings show that Karp has kept a lot of executive power because he owns shares and has control over the company. On March 29, Palantir's chief executive officer CEO sold more shares of the company. Karp sold more than 1.1 million shares for $24.5 million at $21.73 per share. As of the last close price, Karp still owns at least 7.56 million shares of Palantir, which are worth more than $173.7 million. Also, Karp is the Palantir executive who makes the most money. He gets a salary of $3.832 million per year. Please like, subscribe, comment, to help the channel to grow and make more content.